Okay. So we're ready to begin worksheet 2E for the Math 4 course. Yeah, you gotta love the aliens meme, guys. Don't know what else it was, but it was aliens. All right, let's play with a couple of these. F of x is the curve, and g of x is the straight line. Now we're going to start with g of x, g of -2. That's going to cause us to go to the straight line and figure out where is x -2. It would be right there. -2, +2. So when x is -2, y is +2. And we're going to take that and feed it into the f machine. And so on the f curve, when x is 2, we are right there, which means 2, 2. And so that's what that one's going to look like. All right. Now let's move on to the next one. So if x is -3, -1, -2, -3, that's where the f curve is at -3, and that is at 4. And we're going to take that 4 and plug it into the g curve. Excuse me, got a tickle. All right, so when x is +4, that means we're down here. Y is -3. So we're done with that one. Now f of g of 0. This would be g of x here. And g of 0, when the blue line is at 0 on the x-axis, that is right there. That is -1. And we're going to bring that -1 down and feed him into the f machine. When x is -1, that is right there. That's going to be him right there, -1, and he is all the way up to 4. So there is that one. Now we're supposed to simplify these. Let's see, f of x plus g of x. Like terms put together, it's going to look like that. F of x over h of x. Now, I really hope that y'all spotted the fact that the bottom could be factored. And that would be simplify. I mean, they did say simplify. All right. And so f of x times g of x. F of x is x plus 1. G of x is 2x minus 3. So whether you do box or foil, I'll leave that up to you. Something like this, you could just as easily foil it. First terms, x times 2x. Outer terms, x times -3. Inner terms, 1 times 2x. Last terms, 1 times -3. And I got some like terms there. That's what that's going to look like. Although I will say that usually when I work it out on the board, I usually use the box method, because the FOIL method will only handle a binomial and a binomial, two terms and 2 terms. If you go any further than that, like 2 terms and 3 terms, then FOIL goes out the window. Box, you can just stretch and add another couple of boxes on the end and keep on cruising. So let's see what happens when we start plugging in some numbers. If we have f of -4, that is going to be -4 plus 1, which is -3. And then we stick it back in again, and we get a -3 plus 1, which equals -2. Here, if we do h of 0, which is 5 times 0 plus 5, that is going to equal 5. And then we're going to do g of 5, which is 2 times 5 minus 3, 10 minus 3, which is 7. All right, this one's going to be fun. H of 1, 5 times 1 plus 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Then we're going to plug them into G next. G of 10 is 2 times 10 minus 3. 20 minus 3, which is 17. And then we're going to plug him into F, which is going to be 17 plus 1, which is 18. And just because you have an extra machine in there just means you're going to plug into H first, and then G, then F, in much the same way that we have been. All right, find the domain. All right, the domain, I guess first of all, we need to have a conversation about these two items here. Because if I have x squared and I have the square root of x squared is going to do that, which means that my domain is going to be -infinity to +infinity. But this guy is going to do that, which means that my domain is going to be from 0 to +infinity. Now, if I overlap those, what I'm going to wind up with is something that starts at 0 and goes to +infinity. So let's see how that works with these guys. If I do equals x squared over square root of x, so long as I stay a 0 or above, well, actually, no, I can't have 0 down there, can I? Square root of 0 is 0, and I can't have 0 on the bottom of a fraction. So it has to be greater than 0, but it actually can go anywhere from there. So, we can do that. Now, this guy here, f of g of x, let's do this with colors. Let's make him G and him F. And so we're going to say that if f of x is on the outside and g of x is on the inside, that's going to create x by itself. Which I still have a problem with anything below 0. Because if you were, let's say that you were to take -1, what's the first thing you would do? You would plug the -1 into the g of x, which is a square root. You're not going to get very far with that. So your domain is still going to stop at 0 and go on to infinity. Does 0 work? Yes. We plug in a 0 there, we get square root of 0 is 0. 0 squared is still 0. So we're good there. So that's what the domains should look like. And like I say, you can kind of get an idea over here on the side what the players look like. But in the end, you're going to have to look and address each one individually and play what if, what if, what if. right, that is the end of that. That is probably one of the shortest worksheets that we'll have.